has unveiled several high-profile foreign policy plans during
the U.S. has an outsized role in why these countries are unstable as they are today. Where did MS-13 actually originate? This country.
During his address, the president mentioned several foreign policy challenges facing the country.
Even before Trump's election, the establishment in Washington, D.C. was worried about eroding public support for American foreign policy, and they had every right to be.
Argues there is a certain level of angst over President Trump's foreign policy agenda, but he says the worrying is nothing
Presidents
new.
end up getting drawn into the Middle East, drawn into Asia, drawn into Europe.
President's
Latin
decision
always...
to withdraw the United States from the worst deal the president, as he's often said.
In 2013, the numbers showed record low support for international engagement. For the first time, a majority of Americans said the United States should mind its own business internationally and let other countries get along as best they could. And in 2016, on the eve of the presidential election, 70% of Americans wanted the next president to focus more on domestic affairs, compared to just 17% who wanted the president to focus more on foreign policy.
I'd like to talk today about how to develop a new foreign policy direction for our country.
A look at public attitudes across the generations showed that younger Americans were the least supportive of taking an active part in world affairs. Many wondered if American leadership could survive that erosion of public support. Trump's election only amplified these concerns. Would America first and isolationism rule the day? Was American support for internationalism already dead?
My foreign policy will always put the interests of the American people.
The answers are no and no. In fact, almost all of Trump's America First policies are unpopular. So much so, in fact, that Trump has driven support for international engagement and free trade to near record highs. But even more importantly for the long run, it turns out that support for international engagement among younger Americans is alive and well.
It's no wonder that millennials and Generation Z believe that the trading system needs to adapt to fulfill.
When we take a closer look at the views of young people, we find that millennials and Generation Z are just as, if not more supportive, of international cooperation and free trade as older Americans. The biggest difference is that younger Americans are much more skeptical about the role and the utility of military force. They want to engage the world. They just don't want to use the military to do it. They want to engage the world in positive and constructive ways. What they don't want is the same traditional military-centric approach to foreign policy that's dominated Washington for so long. Find out more at cato.org.